Hi guys, welcome back. This time we're outdoors and look at the beautiful weather. So this is the Army Cycling Road Race Series, round 1 at Upavon, and this is the B-Cat race. So the Army has 3 male categories and a female category. The male categories are C-Cat for the novice, then you get promoted through B, and then our A-Cat riders are the top of the tree. And off we go. We also have the females competing in this B race because there's only a handful at this one, so they decided to race at the same time as us, which is great. It does mean there's kind of a race within a race then as well. So you got all the male B riders competing and the female riders competing within amongst ourselves as well. So this is an army competition, and we compete for our cause. So you'll see the different jerseys and stuff like that. And I'm competing for the infantry. So I'm in red, which you won't see obviously, but the rest of the team that I'm with are in red. And there's various other cores, which as we go past you can see what kit they're wearing. It's branded. A very fast circuit this. I think it's identified straight away as, although it's kind of like I think someone described it as a NASCAR circuit. The corners are not exactly kind of big and quite sweeping, so you can take them at some speed, but the pace is pretty high from the get-go at this, and we're over 50k an hour. This is slight downhill now. I'm going to go around the corner, and then there's a bit of an incline going up, but it's not too drastic. The surface was terrible on this route, and you'll see why a little bit later, but there is like a couple of bumps. There's a bump in and around here where we are now, and there is some cones which cause a bit of havoc later on. It's great to see a sea of red. We've got quite a lot of strong infantry riders on here, and you can see little attacks going off the front straight away quite early on. But the bunch is staying relatively tight, and you can see the pace has dropped off a little bit because we are going up that little bit of an incline. It's not steep, but it's enough just to knock off the pace a little bit. So I'm probably sitting a little bit further forward than I'd like. Kind of like to hide in the out the wind, and as you can see, someone's just pointing. You can see the cones as we go through there, and you can see the surface change. The surface is quite poor there. This bit here is downhill, and it's extremely fast. And I think we've identified ahead there. I think we're going to come up to lap someone, but this is where some of the attacks started happening quite early on, and people trying to get away. And we're over 60k an hour going down here, and then this is a slight incline going up. And stupidly, I went off the front, and Matt, I said, "Come on, Matt, let's go." So we had a little bit of an effort off the front just to kind of stretch the pack out a little bit. It was a bit early on in the race, like we're kind of only 7 minutes in, 4k in, so we just kind of sat up and let them come through. But as long as we're just trying to keep it fast and hard, just to make everyone else work, because the infantry guys kind of sat up and let them trying to drag it across. Then you see a rider kind of shoot off down the left-hand side now, all in black, so they're PT Corps. They came with a really strong team today, and there's another one there on the right-hand side just coming through, punching off the front quite a bit, yeah, sticking their nose in the wind a few times, but very, very strong riders that were pushing the pace at times. So it starts to get a bit congested and a bit tight, and you can hear a little bit of jibes here and there where people are warning people off. You just seen there the guy in front in black just kind of half wheeling a little bit and just swinging across, so you got a bit of verbal straight away to say, "Hey, watch what you're doing." And that's sometimes what you got to do. Sometimes people's perceptions are not great, but like I said, PT Corps went off the front again, and there's a guy behind as well, PT Corps, so they tried to get 3 away, but I just kind of broke up the attack and kind of just try to chase them down. But once they realised that they weren't going to get away, they just kind of sat up again. But I didn't particularly put a massive effort in to try and chase them. You see there that other cone, there's another cone, and they've just really poorly placed. The cones were there for the really deep potholes. And I think later on in the race, which I don't see, someone did hit one of them. This part here does give you like a really brief respite, as long as you like kind of surf the wheels like I was, but then you're straight back on the power up that tiny little incline just to get back on. And kind of like most of the other races, it does calm down a little bit. I think every time I went over that bump, the rear camera kept moving, so there's a couple of times where you get my backside in view, and then it'll reset itself again. But again, going up this slight incline, like the pack's back together, everyone's staying quite tight, and I'm trying to stay out of the wind, so it's kind of minimal effort. You see my heart rate's elevated a little bit, but I'm trying to try and keep it below 180. So I said before, it's great to see a lot of infantry, but the two guys in front, 91 and 13, both Royal Anglian teammates of mine. We cycle together quite a bit in the regiment, so it was good to get a race together in here. And if you just look, there's just a sea of red everywhere, and the infantry are kind of pushing on and maybe trying to boss the race a little bit here. It seemed to be everywhere where all the attacks are happening, and that's kind of good to see.
I'm glad this has gone down a little bit. It's it now, isn't it? Okay, now.
I think there was a little bit of gobbing off at times with some of the riders. Some were saying that people were going to the front and sandbagging, slowing the pace down. And obviously there was a little bit of jostling for position, and you could hear some people telling people to calm down and watch when they're moving wheels. But sometimes when you're surfing wheels, I mean, you need to have eyes in the back of your head to make sure when you come across. And I suppose that's why this is the B race. There's still some people essentially learning that. They might have the fitness, but bike handling does come with kind of experience. You don't just get that overnight. It's times like now where it kind of opens up a little bit and there's just gaps everywhere, and you just got to kind of try and surf the wheels and make your way through without kind of half wheeling or hitting anyone else's wheel, because as soon as we go up this incline, you can see behind as well, it is just getting really stretched. So I'm just putting a bit of power down, surfing some wheels, but then I just sometimes just have to go around the outside and push myself closer to the front, and I can see a lot of infantry riders at the front, so I just want to be there in case there's a move goes off. I think someone just went off the front there, and but wasn't infantry. But I don't think that move lasted very long, because the pace is so high here that it is quite difficult for an individual to get away.
Feel free. There we go. Off you go. Need a shovel.
And you can see as we come down here and start pushing on, it starts to get a little bit strung out, because I think the pace, there's a bit of an injection of pace at the front, which a few people put on to try and get away, but we were pretty tight at that point, so it was quite difficult to get away. And I think out of nowhere, the pace ramped up massively, and I wasn't sure if this was like an attack off the front or not, but was over 50k an hour. We're just going around this corner, and you see the pack behind are really trying to kind of push on and get back to us. But I didn't go on the front. I just surfed this wheel of this Remy guy, and then I realised there's an infantry rider on the front, so I was like, oh, I might have to do some work. And before I knew it, I turned around and the pack's kind of with us again, so it's kind of a muted move. We didn't get away, so back to the drawing board.
Okay. Go.
I think a race like this is probably a little bit less about technique and probably a bit more about fitness, because the lack of kind of corners and stuff, or the ease of the corners, I should say, it was more about just kind of trying to stay on the power and surf the right wheels and stay out of trouble. You see Larry there reaching down for a drink. I think everyone was quite shocked at how warm it was that day, and at the end of the race I had nothing left in my water bottle whatsoever. It was absolutely red hot. I should have really put the temperature up so everyone could see, but there was hardly any wind. There was a little bit of wind, but hardly any wind. I think at this point you see me, I was a little bit far back, so I decided to go around the outside and kind of push on a little bit and get back up to the front, because it did look like they were trying to stretch people out again. So I just made sure that I was in a decent position to not get dropped, and you can see everyone behind reacting and kind of trying to push back on. And I'm just surfing whatever wheels I can and trying to stay out of trouble. Nice little wave there on the rear camera. So it was nice to see someone notice that the cameras were on there. But no, it was a lovely day for filming. There was hardly any wind, so the cameras weren't getting battered around like they have done. And again, if you just look, we're going up this slight incline, and the injection of pace just goes through, and someone went off the left-hand side there and went off the front again, and it's instantly chased down. Like, everyone just ramps the pace up and tries to get back on straight away. Yeah, and there's the bump again has knocked the rear camera, so you can see the top end of my bum. But again, just one of those, everyone's kind of sticking together, the pace gets high on certain parts of the course, and then we're back together again, stretched out, back together, stretched out, back together. We thought this was a move on the right-hand side, but I think it was just moving up. Again, there's been a bit of a solo attack off the front again, but it's probably at the worst point. So it's downhill, so everyone's just kind of using the downhill to get back on, and then they're on their own going up this slight incline. So the move gets chased down again quite quickly. So one of my biggest bugbears is people diving down the side, not realising what's up in front, and you'll see there the road was closing, and that guy who's directly behind me now just tried to come down a part of the track that wasn't a part of the track. And again, still he's half on the road, half off the road, trying to squeeze me out. And I know some people will say that's racing, but actually, like, it's probably just a bit dangerous. And if there's not a gap there, don't make a gap, which he did a few times in the race, and I think it annoyed a few other riders as well. So there's some choice words during the race, I think. So we're hitting the latter stage of the races now, and it's good to see that the whole group's together. I think a lot of people at this point, 40 minutes in, are starting to take gels on board and water and stuff like that in preparation for the kind of sprint at the end. I got caught out at this bit here, where the bump is, with a gel in my hand, and hit the bump. I think a few people got caught out as well. Water bottles went flying and stuff like that. And sometimes you can't help it. You just got to kind of roll with it. So I was sitting on this guy's wheel, number 39. I realised he actually let us know he was coming out this time. But he started to move off the front, so I just started to chase his wheel, noticing that he's obviously got a teammate behind me and another teammate as well. So I think the other infantry guy in front of me, I think it's Jax, he identified that was happening as well. So we just kind of broke it up, made sure that we chased it down, and they stopped the move quite quickly after that. But you'll see there's two PT core guys there, side by side, and one behind, but pretty much swamped by infantry riders around, making sure that that was closed down quite quickly. And before you know it, we're on the downhill again, and the injection of pace has kicked in. So looking at the rear camera, the guy directly in the middle in red, that's Larry, as the guy I talked about before. So a massive chuck up to him, because this is his first B race. He's only ever done one race before, and to jump in this was a big step up, and he did great. So it was really good to see. So there's now kind of a two-man breakaway away, and we realise one of the infantry riders in there. So we're not going to work, but these guys on the front here, I think one of them has a teammate up the road, but they decide to chase them down. So obviously we just kind of still stay on that wheel, because what we don't want is for them to be up the road, and then it gets chased down pretty quickly. So we just make sure we keep surfing the wheels. And it was a bit rubbish that obviously we had a teammate up the road that ended up getting chased down, but it was because the PT core guy didn't want to work with him. And then straight away there was a guy from the Royal Engineers went straight over the top and attacked again. So we were strung out again. So this is the as we cross the line, it'll be the bell lap, so it'll be the final lap. So we do get kind of strung out straight away, and you've got to chase every move now. So I think it was round about now we lost one of our teammates, Matt, who we just talked about earlier. He had a puncture, and I think throughout the day we noticed 4 or 5 other riders had punctures. So probably not the smoothest of circuits, and not one I'll be looking forward to coming back to again, with the amount of mechanicals people were having. So with the last lap, we really stretched everyone out now. So I'll play this in real time, and you can kind of see what happens here. There was 3 or 4 of us kind of leading the charge through, and then we get to this point and...
Oh, fuck off! Oh, for fuck's sake, man!
So what happened was my chain came off. You could hear the audible clunk, and I managed to somehow get it back on. I was reaching down, grabbing it, and I managed to get back on the chain ring. But by this point, I'm like 30-40 metres off, and they're doing over 50k an hour up an incline as well. So I definitely couldn't get back on for the sprint. So I just kind of rode the rest of the race. Or rode the rest of the track. It was only half a lap left to go, but just rode it in. On the positive though, 2 teammates won, first and second. Not sure who got third place, because I wasn't there to see it, but it was great to get an Infantry 1-2, which means strong start to the season. I wasn't even too fussed about this guy going past me at this point. The race was over, wasn't going to score any points. I was just snapped because at that point I thought I had a good race. I was surfing the right wheels, and I think where I was, 4th wheel, coming up to this sprint, I was in a good position. But we'll never know what would have happened. Next race then, a couple of weeks time, it'll be at Hillingdon. I'll record that one as well. A lot more technical than this. But if you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and come back for more. Thanks very much.